What is going on, guys? Dork Gaming here, and welcome to a bit of a revisit video that also happens to include some extra things as well. This video will include my Speed Demon Loki build and my Drift Demon Nezha build, which are actually more or less the same, other than the fact that my Nezha is missing one mod compared to my Speed Demon Loki, because he doesn't have enough capacity, and I'm not gonna forma him because he's not the prime variant, and I've got this unsaid rule that I don't forma the non-primes because I will eventually replace them. But anyway, you don't care about that now, do you? We'll also take a look at Pago, and I'll give you some recommendations as to how to do that mission in case that you were trying to farm for Harrow and he was just being a pain in the buttocks because the missions are really difficult for you. We already covered Defection with our Defection Queen Octavia. Now let's cover Pago with Speed Demon Loki and his friend Drift Demon Nezha. First of all, I want to mention that this build was showcased before. I showcased my Speed Demon Loki build a long time ago when I said that I soloed a sortie in 10 minutes with it, and indeed I did that. It was almost 10 minutes, and it was pretty easy with him because he's just that fast. But it has been buffed since then, or rather the aura that he uses has been buffed since then. They gave more points to sprint boost, which in turn means that sprint boost is now, well, more sprint speed at max rank than it used to be. And it also means that Speed Demon Loki is more so of a speed demon than he once was. And of course, I did say in that video, I don't know, maybe this build will work with a Nezha, and indeed it does, but it's not the same. The mechanics behind the builds are different, although the purpose is the same. Let's get on to talking a little bit about the builds, and after we get to talking with them, we will talk about Pago and how to do some of the runs. So, Speed Demon Loki is all about sprinting, because Loki Prime has the fastest sprint speed of all Warframes at base. He scales pretty rapidly with basically anything that includes sprint mods, and that is pretty evident in the gameplay considering how fast this guy is. And if you add slide on top of that, because of the whole butt scoot where you slide a little bit and then you stop and keep that momentum going, he can be pretty fast. And the reasoning behind that is because he has this fast sprint speed already, and added on top of that more momentum means that he can just, snowball himself into higher speeds. But Nezha works differently. Loki's passive works for sliding longer, not Loki's, Nezha's passive works for sliding longer because he has less friction. Loki's got the whole wall latch thing, which to me makes very little sense. I mean, if you want to wall latch, why would you want to actually stick to a wall for that long when you can just sit on the edges of things? Whatever. I'm rambling, aren't I? And anyway, let's go back to Nezha. His passive allows him to slide for longer, and that scales just like Loki Prime's fastest sprint speed. His best slide, I guess, also scales better with slide and negative friction mods than other Warframes would, which in turn means that our friend here, Loki, can't do what Nezha does, but at the same time Nezha can't do what Loki does, because Nezha doesn't have the base speed that Loki does. He instead has better slide capabilities, and for this reason Loki is faster when he's sprinting, but on sliding Nezha is faster because he uses that superb slide-in capability for him to propel himself effectively through the map. But there's a catch. Nezha can clip on things. Say you hit a wall or something was on the ground that was tall enough to where your Warframe couldn't pass by it automatically, so you got stuck on it. Due to the fact that momentum from uh, slide-in is actually kept as passive, unlike sprinting, where momentum kept by sprinting is removed as soon as you stop sprinting. Nezha cannot stop himself when he's sliding, so he's basically just latching onto walls and things like that because he's still sliding towards them. While if he was sprinting, he could have easily changed direction, and that momentum and speed would have been lost towards the other way, so he would have easily been capable of getting unstuck. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, Nezha can clip onto things and basically lose all of his forward momentum and have stationary momentum where he can't move, because in theory he's still moving towards that direction, but because there's something blocking his way, he can't actually go forward, and he needs to wait until he loses all of his momentum in order to move again. While Loki, because he doesn't have that issue, because he's not sliding and he's sprinting, he can easily switch his direction if he just clips onto something. And you'll notice that in the gameplay with Nezha, that I get stuck on a lot of things. It's very faint because I did a couple of runs on Pago in order to get the hang of it. But when you do first get this build and run it, you will notice the difference between Nezha and any other Warframe, because he will clip a lot onto things. Now, which one do I recommend you use? Personally, I believe you should stick to Speed Demon Loki. Yes, he's slightly slower, but he's a lot easier to control and a lot easier to use than Nezha ever will be, because Nezha doesn't have the base sprint speed, he has the base slide-in capabilities. And sure, his first ability allows you to go even faster, but that requires energy. The whole point of these two builds is for you not to utilize your energy whatsoever in order to gain that speed. While if you just wanted to use energy, you could have just instead went with a Volt and also gave that speed to your allies as well, not just yourself. But I digress. If you want to use Nezha's first ability in order to go even faster, go ahead, I suppose. But he's still not gonna be as fast at base as Loki is. He will be faster in overall due to his slide, but he's also a lot harder to actually properly run than Loki ever will be. But enough about that, let's move on to Pago. Now right here I showcase a different path that you can take for this specific data vault, which for me is always Bravo, but maybe to you it's gonna pop up as Alpha, I don't know. But anyway, on that you can actually go through that vent and end up to this location from the other side, not from the path that I took. But in the case that it's locked, you can still take the path that I took. Now here I used my operator to go through the grates that would have otherwise triggered the alarms, and I go through the part there underneath to get into the data vault without opening up the door that leads to it. With my Loki, I actually used a separate path because you can get down there from holes on the floor. And with Loki, in general, Pago is easier because he has stealth, while Nezha doesn't. So if you're going to be running Pago for Harrow and you want to do it fast, I'd suggest Loki for sure, because he's more capable of maneuvering the tile set since he won't clip on a lot of things that easily, and he has stealth, which allows him to more practically do the the mission. While Nezha, he could technically use his quote-unquote teleport, but that would require him to cast two abilities at once, and it will get a little bit tricky, especially when you need to maneuver tight places, and throwing your chakra might not be that easy. But anyway, the first data vault that was in the gameplay alpha, that one, the cameras won't actually touch you when you're hacking the consoles, so don't be afraid to just run in and get close to the console and just hack away, because the cameras can't actually target you while you're on the console, so there's no point in you worrying over that. The consoles are too far away from the cameras, so you won't get spotted, and so you won't trigger any alarms. Now this data vault, I would suggest you take the path that I take, because there's only one door between you and the data console, and it's pretty easy to get to the console from this path. Now do be wary of that camera drone, because sometimes it will come towards the door, while other times it will actually move away from the door. I have no idea when it decides to do which thing, which is why I got spotted here as my Nezha, but it's mostly random, I believe. But anyway guys, that's all I have for you. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. If you didn't, please do give it a dislike. And if you enjoyed it that much that you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing. It's the best way for you to keep up with the videos that I'll be uploading. Thanks for watching guys, I wish you good luck in farming Harrow, and I will see you in the next video. Also, I forgot to mention, Nezha was always slower in terms of time than my Loki during these Pago runs.